So as promised, we are joined by an author, Christiana Cioffi, and so excited to talk to her about one of her books and just hear about what inspired her. So let me pull her up right now. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Yes, thanks for joining us. Okay, so I know we want to get to know about you, but we're also here to talk about your book, An Unapologetic Spinster, True Modern Dating Stories. And so dating is a big topic amongst all of my friends, both male and female. So can you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself?
Yes, happy to be here and share my story. So I found myself out of a 10-year relationship at the age of 34 and introduced to the modern world of dating, which was fairly overwhelming, as most people, have stepped into it in this modern age. I found through trial and error what to do and what not to do when you're dating. But I decided the most important thing I needed to do was change my perspective about dating and make it fun. Mm-hmm. And so I started to write some stories about my dating experiences and turned it into a book, really making it humorous, but also relatable for other people to remember that we do write our own stories about dating and we can have fun through dating if that's something we want to do.
Right. Yeah. No, I think that's probably one of the best lessons that I've heard people repeat over and over. Just try to have fun. Just don't go into the first date wondering if you can marry the person. Just go in and see if you can have a good time in that night and have a conversation and try to have fun. So, okay, so can you share some of your perspective and of the book and some of the chapters or highlights from the book?
Absolutely. So my book is about 75% humorous. 25% of it is some of the sad parts of dating where, I've fallen in love and it hasn't worked out, or somebody fell in love with me. But a lot of it is, very random stories and things that happen. So a lot of your friends that are out there dating, they might say, hey, you won't believe what happened to me this weekend on a date, or how I met somebody. And that I've taken every chapter of my book has been a little different take on what happens. So one story, I met somebody who lived in a van down by the river, which I thought was, a joke taken from, Saturday Night Live, but no, he really lived in a van down by the river. And I learned through that dating experience not to have judgments on people before you even meet them, because he turned out to be one of the most entertaining dates that I had. Really fun, wonderful person. Of course, it didn't last. He ended up rolling out of town, but it was such a memorable experience and really great learning for me.
That was well said. He ended up rolling out of town with his van.
Yes.
I like it. Okay, so I wanted to walk through a few of the highlights of the book, and maybe you could just expand on them. So one of the highlights, I believe, is alone but not lonely. Can you expand a little bit on that part of the book?
So many of us, when we are alone on a Friday night without a date, or just in general, we are not in a relationship, we often think we are lonely. But they're actually very different. And I challenge people to separate the two, because you can be in a relationship but also feel lonely because you're maybe not in the right relationship for you. So just like you can be in a relationship and be lonely, you can also very much be not in a relationship and not be lonely. And that means redirecting your energy inward and embracing yourself and fostering self-love. Because when you do that, you become very comfortable with who you are, and you're not looking for somebody else to fill some gap or make you feel whole. You just are being you, and that's a very rewarding place to live.
Right, and that takes me to the next highlight, where you point out in the book that the greatest love of your life is you. And so would you expand on that a bit?
Yes, I think it's important for people to remember that there's one consistent person in their life. And I write about this in my book. I am a breast cancer survivor. I'm also, a veteran. So I've seen combat, and I've been around a lot of people, had a lot of different experiences, but at the end of the day, it's me that's had to hold my own hand through cancer and coming out of that, and it made me much stronger. And so I write in my book, woven through these different stories, about the importance of appreciating and embracing yourself, because you're going to be there for yourself, and not having to rely on somebody else is very empowering, which is something I'm very passionate about in my career, helping people feel empowered advocating for themselves and taking time to do things for themselves every day, even if it's something small, give yourself that love and appreciation that you deserve.
Yeah, I think that's such great advice. And one of my friends had been given a piece of advice that you have to first love yourself and find out like what you like to do and what you don't enjoy doing, and go do all of the things that you enjoy doing. And so that then you can go and enjoy those things with someone else. So it makes perfect sense that you're saying that, self-love, love yourself, and then that other person will come along and you're happy with yourself. And so you also mentioned to be your own date. So do you suggest people going out on dates just by themselves and doing things they enjoy?
I think it's wonderful if you can get over the ego aspect of being in a restaurant by yourself, because a lot of people say, I will never go, sit at a table by myself. That looks so sad and pathetic. But really, it's quite a show of confidence to sit at a table by yourself and be comfortable by yourself. And if you're somebody who's confident, you're also going to attract that in. So just like you said, you've got to embrace the things about your life that you enjoy doing. That's also where you're often going to find people. They'll have that similar interest to you right off the bat, but you're also going to exude confidence in going out there and living your life without wondering, and thinking about what other people are, thinking about you. So that's what I encourage people to do is, have the fun living the life you're meant to live for you. And don't put things on hold because you're waiting to be in a relationship.
Right. No, I think that's great advice. I like the part of the book that it kind of playfully mentions that book, take this book on a date, and it won't ghost your audience after the date. I like the
my book is a great alternative if you find yourself without a date, next weekend. Order my book and just enjoy it, and it won't ghost you. It's a lot cheaper than an expensive dinner, and my book will definitely have you laughing.
Yeah. So tell me about the title. How did you come up with that?
So An Unapologetic Spinster, that is a poke at the antiquated word spinster, but I think the essence of the word still exists in society today, which is, especially as a woman, if you're not married or have a family by a certain age, people start to wonder what's wrong with you, or why aren't you sticking to the societal expectations and the timeline of how you're meant to live your life. So for me, approaching 40 years old and writing this book, I realized I am right where I'm meant to be, and I don't care what society has to say about the path I'm supposed to be on. This is the path I'm on, and I'm embracing it. And I want other people to also shed these societal expectations or limiting beliefs that they may have, and just enjoy the journey of finding themselves and finding love.
Yeah, I think that's such great advice. And while it's hard to do at times, if you can just embrace the journey, like you said, and accept that you're just right where you're supposed to be. And then actually some friends of mine gave me some advice that, when you live and walk in gratitude, like the things you want start coming your way. And I really, truly believe that. And so I think taking part of your advice of owning who you are and really loving who you are, and then walking in gratitude, right? And also having some humor along the way, that those things that you want start to slowly come into your life. And so is there anything about the book that I haven't asked you that you want to share with the viewers?
I think we did capture what it's about. I encourage anybody who has had some difficulty in dating or just isn't finding it fun, pick up my book and read it, and it'll also help you remember that you're not alone on this journey. But if you start to enjoy the process, just like the law of attraction, having gratitude for right where you're at, it will help speed things up and bring that love into you, and it'll be, you'll enjoy the journey. So that's my main message.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you joining East Texas Now, and everybody, you heard it, go and pick up a copy of the Unapologetic Spinster. And I like the title so much. And so, Christiana, thank you so much for joining us, and hope that your journey as a breast cancer survivor continues. Congratulations on that, and thank you for serving our country, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.